Why, hello, and welcome to another episode of the GSMC Wrestling Laureate Podcast. I'm your host, Eric Rodriguez, every Monday through Friday on the GSMC Sports Network. Here to talk about everything in terms of professional wrestling, from AEW to WWE. We talk about it here. If it makes major news headlines in terms of WWE, we talk about it here on the show. And not just WWE, AEW. Sorry, I lied. Today's Wednesday. Hope you guys had a great hump day. Guys, don't get too crazy. My mom always referred to this day as hump day. You're kind of, getting up to the hump in terms of, the week. We got, football Thursday, we got Friday football, we have Sunday football, Monday football. It's all gonna make it worth your while. We have AEW's All Out pay-per-view that's gonna happen as well over the weekend on Saturday. Wise choice. Wise choice. You didn't decide to go up against the NFL on Sunday. So maybe that might be, kind of a consistent trend that you probably see all elite wrestling and Tony Khan kind of move toward. But thank you so much for tuning into the GSMC Wrestling Laureate Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your host, Eric Rodriguez, and on tap to today, this show, we have our WWE NXT review. We have our AEW Dynamite preview. We're also going to talk about Swerve Strickland's new contract in AEW and how WWE negatively reacted to it, basically, kind of criticizing Tony Khan for making kind of making superstars kind of push what they're worth. And, I'm not that's not a bad thing. That's not a bad thing. Obviously, these guys, they travel 365 days a year, probably more than any other professional sports athlete in the world. So, maybe it's a good thing. Honestly, I probably say it is a good thing. Tony Khan knows how to take care of its superstars. Obviously, WWE's kind of always been in that, like, what do we really have to say? What do we really have to do to kind of push the envelope? How can we get this superstar, at minimal cost, as possible? And that's just business. That's just business. Nothing really to frown upon, but I don't know. I just thought that was interesting overall how WWE kind of was hating on AEW, how they signed Swerve Strickland to that big contract. In our fourth segment, we're going to talk about Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan has signed a new deal with WWE. Is it good? Is it bad? We talk about it on the fourth segment, so make sure you stay tuned for that. And then our fifth and final segment, something we do every Wednesday. I give you guys my Wednesdays weekly wrestling news. I talk about all the major breaking news headlines in terms of professional wrestling. So yeah, let's go ahead and dig on into it. But of course, before we do any of that, I want to remind you guys to go ahead and hit up that super chat. Whether if you got a burning question or just something that you've been dying to get off your chest, here at the GSMC Sports Network, we are all ears 1,010%. So make sure you guys become part of the show. Make sure your voice is heard. Your voice is definitely treasured, and it is part of the mix. So don't be shy. Drop your thoughts inside the chat. And if you really want to make sure your comment or question gets noticed, why not use that super chat? Just hit that dollar sign below the chat box. It keeps the lights on in terms of keeping all the sports content in terms of the GSMC Sports Network going, so you can get more of your awesome free sports content. And we are absolutely so grateful for each and every one of you guys, 1,010% who joins us here daily. Your support makes all the difference. So let's keep the party going. Let's make sure we stay together, and together we will make sure this podcast is bigger, better, and stronger than ever. Hit up that super chat, hit up those super stickers, because you guys are super awesome, 1,010%. And once again, if the super chat thing is not your thing, we are still at the GSMC podcast.net. Hit up the tips and donations link. Tell me what you like, tell me what you don't like. Give me some feedback. Your feedback is a gift. 1,010%. Here at the GSMC Sports Network, we do love a lot of peace, love, and positivity. But overall, if you have something to say, say it. That's what this podcast is ultimately designed for. Remember to Superman punch that like and subscribe button to the show. Follow the show, follow the network, and I guarantee you will be happy. You will be happy. All right, so we have our WWE NXT review. We have Trick Williams calling out Pete Dunne at the start of the show. Ethan Page obviously came out. He successfully retained his title at NXT's No Mercy, which was it was all right. Although Trick Williams kind of got screwed over with his title match, Ethan Page rubbed it in his face, saying that I defended my title twice successfully. Probably, Joe Hendry, top TNA guy, definitely is a force to be reckoned with. That was a good win, but of course, there was smoke and mirrors, and the waters were muddied a little bit. But then you faced Oro Mensah. That's, I'm not trying to hate on Oro Mensah, but overall, no, it's not that impressive, dog. Like, come on, dude. Trick Williams had to face you, Sean Spears, Javon Evans in a fatal four-way match at NXT Heatwave and was unsuccessful. Kind of sucks, but it is what it is. Trick Williams is right now on the outside looking in terms of the NXT World Title predicament. Next, we see the Rascalz in a three-way triple threat match to determine the number one contender for the NXT Tag Team titles. You had Gallus, you had Hank and Tank, and overall, the match it was perfect. I give it a 5 stars, 5 out of 5. You saw the Rascalz kind of do what they do. You see the reasons why they're here to stay on NXT. TNA is definitely I feel like TNA is on the cusp of starting to benefit from what NXT has to offer. We've seen Charlie Dempsey go over there, Riley Osborne. We've seen, Kendrick Bourne. No, I don't think you're could be misspoke. Speaking of, I want to see Chase U go over there. That'd be pretty badass. I want to see Moose come over to fight Oba Femi. That'd be dope. You had in the women's division, Izzy Dame and Tatum Paxley. So, the Rascalz winning this match was really big, and I like this opportunity for them. 1,010%. Next, we saw a match between Oro Mensah and Lexis King. Lexis King was able to pick up the victory, which I was kind of, I was surprised about. But Lexis King, he's fallen off the map a little bit. He did win this match, so right now he's still kind of, he's still in the limelight as of right now. But a superstar from AEW that, was, thinking greener pastures in terms of WWE. Sometimes there's just way too much talent, and it's not an indictment on, Lexis King or some of the superstars that came from other promotions to WWE. Especially under the Triple H Paul Levesque era. I don't think he was, kind of dealing with those Vince McMahon problems, like how Vince McMahon wanted to make sure all the other talent that was in WWE got buried. But I don't think that's how Triple H kind of does things around WWE anymore. So, definitely, have to be patient. Be patient. I feel like Lexis King will overall get a storyline pretty soon here. He made it personal, but he was able to steal the match. But Earl Mensah, Metaphor is slowly declining. Miss Jackson, Lash Legend, I think will eventually kind of steer off in their own. No, Noam Dar, the Supernova, which is kind of what Metaphor is all about. He's kind of that, he's that crap talking guy who's going to get in your face, and he can back it up. For being a small dude, Noam Dar could definitely hold his own inside the squared circle in WWE NXT. So I feel like when he comes back, maybe Shawn Michaels will kind of put them more in like a better booking. But as of right now, I don't know. They just seem kind of lost. Next, we had Tatum Paxley successfully win her match against Rosemary, which was shocking. I thought Rosemary was going to come in, in a blaze of glory and just absolutely demolish Tatum Paxley. But obviously that wasn't the case. I kind of took it a little personal, in terms of, a WWE superstar once again beats TNA. And a lot of wrestling fans are thinking about this, especially when Wesley said it last week on NXT, how, WWE superstars will always overtower TNA wrestlers. And I don't know, I was kind of hoping for Rosemary to pick up the victory, but I saw exactly why they did it. You're going to see probably a tag team match between Lyra Valkyria. Lyra Valkyria, by the way, returned to WWE NXT. It was great. Tatum Paxley was able to find a familiar friend. Lyra, she's back in NXT, and I don't know. It just goes to show, when you have them premiering on the CW October 1st. They're going to need some top end superstars. I feel like Lyra Valkyria's run in WWE is after she, came back to NXT last night. I don't want to say it's over. She was my heavily favorite to win the WWE Women's Speed Championship, which happened today, the first round. But being on NXT, I feel like it's perfect for her. You saw Tatum Paxley open her, wide open arms, which I feel like overall will be really well for her. I feel like it's going to do great. Why not use the talent you have to kind of, promote a promotion like WWE NXT? And I don't know. Maybe she has another round left in her. I overall kind of have, sus feelings that she's probably going to be the one to answer Jordan Grace's open challenge next week on NXT, which would be great for Lyra Valkyria. She came this close to winning the Queen of the Ring. She was very successful on Monday Night Raw. But now that you have this pure fusion collective, they kind of squashed it, left Lyra Valkyria and Selena Vega by themselves, and then you have Damage Control. Most likely, you're going to see Asuka return to kind of even the odds a little bit here. Maybe create like a 3-on-3 women's championship match would be pretty. I think it'd be pretty. That'd be pretty badass. I would love that booking. But Lyra Valkyria belongs in NXT. It's better than her going up to WWE and being kind of shoved to the side like you saw. Like you see Indy Hartwell, like a lot like you've seen Shayna Baszler, and if that's what it takes for her to be noticed, because Lyra Valkyria is very, 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 very amazing inside the ring. And only the sky's the limit. Sky's the limit. So definitely think she's going to do great things in NXT once again. Then you saw Trick Williams and Pete Dunne finally get in the ring to fight each other. They've been fighting back and forth backstage. It got to the point where it was kind of like ridiculous when one of them was like, hitting a promo and the other was like, they start beating each other up. And like, I was like, all right, okay. I'm getting this, maybe like a CM Punk Drew McIntyre vibe a little bit here. But overall, I feel like it was, sorry, my God, why is this happening? Sorry, I got sweat in my eye. Oh. All right, I'm alive. I think I'm alive. All right. But anyways, this match between Trick Williams and Pete Dunne, overall, I feel like it's a good booking. I do feel like it's a good booking, better than Drew McIntyre and CM Punk. But they and it ended a double count out, and these guys are still beating the hell out of each other. They're going to fight next week in the last man standing match. That should be pretty awesome. Next, we have Javon Evans defeating Joe Gallows. Big win. Big win for Javon Evans, making it kind of like 1-1 apiece in terms of their series fighting each other, like where kind of like on SmackDown where you've seen Andrade taking on Carmelo Hayes, a former, NXT champion. Oba Femi defeated Channing Stacks Lorenzo. Jasmine Nix took an L against Jada Parker. Parker looked, she actually looked kind of injured. A couple of notes that I wrote down. I feel like Jada Parker was kind of nursing an injury. She was going a little slower than usual. And all in all, I just, I respect and I love Jada Parker. I think she's great. Right now, Jasmine Nix, part of this fatal influence. Jasmine Nix, Fallon Henley. I love that Jada Parker challenged Roxanne Perez for the title. Kind of keeps her name imminent, a little prominent in terms of WWE NXT, although she did lose. One of those things where, like, even though you lose, you kind of win here. And Jada Parker, she's going to be forever seen as an NXT Women's Division main eventer because she was in that match, because she keeps getting dubs on the daily, and eventually she will be a champion. I agree with that 1,010%. I kind of thought maybe, her and Sol Ruca were going to be the ones to actually be the inaugural WWE NXT Women's North American Champion. Obviously, Keilani Jordan won it, and, she's doing a great job. She's doing a great job all in all, but, kind of crazy. Lastly, on NXT, Roxanne Perez was confronted by Gulia. They're going to fight. They're going to fight on the first episode of NXT, airing on the CW October 1st for the WWE NXT Women's World Heavyweight Championship. So that should be great. I can't wait to see that. It's going to be, it's going to be awesome. It kind of needs to be awesome. That show needs to be, perfect as hell. All right, guys. Well, hey, do not go anywhere. We're going to jump on into our AEW Dynamite preview. It's Wednesday, so once again, we talk about Tony Khan's promotion. Grab your favorite snack, grab your favorite ice-cold beverage, and join me here. So, hey, do not go anywhere.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I wanna be the greatest. Everybody on the fake shit. I look around and feel like everybody is the fakest. I make this every day and I'm impatient, hoping one day I blow up from the basement. Statement, the top is so vacant. I don't hear shit that I think is amazing. Waiting for my day when I'm playing sold out shows for 1,000 faces. Hey, give me that crown, get in my way and to be put down. It ain't your place, all this my town. If I want that shit, then I'll get it right now. I'm losing it, the noose it fits. I'm losing shit, a stupid myth. You choose to live or choose to dip. You choose to fight or lose your grip and lose a gift. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind?
All right. We are back with the GSMC Wrestling Laureate Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your host, Eric Rodriguez, here every Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Pacific Time, 11 p.m. Eastern Time, here to talk about everything in terms of professional wrestling on the GSMC Sports Network. Just kind of reflect on what we talked about our first segment. We had our WWE NXT review. Now we're going to talk about AEW Dynamite. So yeah, let's go ahead and get it, girl. All right, but before we do any of that, I want to remind you guys to hit up that super chat. Whether if you have a burning question to talk about, something you want to get off your chest, or maybe a hot take in terms of professional wrestling, here at the GSMC Sports Network, we are absolutely all ears 1,010% of the time. Let's keep this conversation going, keep it lively, making sure it's a hot topic in the world of professional wrestling. Your voice is obviously all we care about. 1,010%. We love hearing from the fans, and to make sure you're just part of the mix. So don't be shy. Drop a comment, drop a question, maybe a criticism here at the GSMC Sports Network. We do love a lot of peace, love, and positivity, but overall feedback is a gift. So don't be too scared to get up the chat. It's gonna be awesome. And if you really want to make sure your comment or question gets read on air, why not use that super chat? It's that $sign below that chat box. Send in your message. It's guaranteed to be featured on the show. Plus, it's a great way to support our channel. Your super chats helps us keep the lights on and bring you even more awesome content, sports content, in this terms, professional wrestling content. So we are absolutely super 110% grateful for each and every one of you who joins us here daily on the GSMC Sports Network. You make all the difference. So thank you guys once again. So let's keep the conversation going. Let's keep this party living. You know what I mean? Send in those super chats, those super stickers, because you guys are super awesome. Super awesome. And together we will make sure this show is bigger, better, and stronger than ever. And once again, if the super chat is not your thing, still you can hit up the gsmcpodcast.net. Hit up the tips and donations link at the GSMC, podcast.net. Tell me what you like, tell me what you don't like. Superman, punch that like and subscribe button to the show. Follow the network here at the GSMC Sports Network. Once again, we do love a lot of peace, love, and positivity, 1,010%. But obviously feedback is a gift. So I just want to hear you guys' voice. Just want to hear if you're enjoying it. Maybe some hot takes in terms of professional wrestling. You're like, whoa, maybe we can have a whole conversation, in terms of just ask me. Just ask me. It's going to be awesome. All right, so it's Wednesday. You know what that means. AEW Dynamite is live. It's the last Dynamite before All Out. Live in Milwaukee, Wisconsin at the UWM Panther Arena. Should be pretty awesome. This is the, obviously the go home show for AEW. Of course you have Rampage and you have Collision, which aren't doing too well in the ratings, but overall, Dynamite, I feel like, is their overall, kind of, steeple show. First and foremost, what's going to happen with Ricochet tonight? Ricochet, he had his debut on AEW, taking on Kyle Fletcher last week, and it was great. Overall, I feel like it did live up to the hype, but, moving on to the storyline, maybe he kind of dabbled in a little bit of taking on the Blackpool Combat Club. Obviously, he wants to help out his buddy Will Ospreay. Maybe some way, somehow, maybe Wheeler Yuta or Claudio Castagnoli. Maybe they get injured, or maybe somebody takes them out. They're like, oh no, who are we gonna have to fill in that other spot? And then of course you're gonna have Ricochet. That's where I would go with that. I feel like that'd be pretty badass. And we also have title matches. We have an AEW Women's World Title Championship match. We have the Glamour Mariah May taking on the Native Beast, Nyla Rose. Rose is in her first woman. She was the first ever woman to score 100 victories in AEW, and She actually hasn't challenged for the AEW Women's Championship since April 16th of 2022. Mariah May, she doesn't have an easy task ahead of her. A lot of people, it'd be kind of crazy to see her drop the belt tonight. Maybe Tony Storm finds a way to, kind of screw her over a little bit. I feel like that'd be pretty cool, but obviously, having such a short title reign would be, kind of blemish it a little bit. Although I would love, oh my God, kind of like when you saw Swerve Strickland drop the AEW World Heavyweight Championship against Bryan Danielson, and all AEW creative was like, all right, cool, awesome. Now we can go absolutely nuts with this Hangman Adam Page, kind of angle here where him and Swerve get into it, and it gets absolutely freaking nuts. And it would be kind of cool to kind of see that without the title kind of lingering over as like as a possible obligation. So yeah, I would be a huge fan of that. Mariah May, she's a talented superstar. I feel like if she loses the title, it's not going to really be such a big deal. Nyla Rose would definitely liven up the women's division on AEW, but is it going to happen? Probably not. Just wishful thinking, maybe. Trying to kind of muddy the waters a little bit, trying to get to something different. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you had Tony Storm hold on to that title for about like almost 200 days, and it was a good reign. All in all, it was a very good reign. But Mariah May comes in. She's pissed as hell. She wants to destroy Tony Storm limb by limb, but she's also holding the AEW World Heavyweight Championship, a Women's World Championship. If you have Nyla Rose win tonight, and she takes the strap off of Mariah May, then we could probably get like a couple of matches of hardcore, bloody, like, because honestly at AEW All Out, do you want to see Mariah May kind of face anybody but Tony Storm? Being honest, I don't. I don't know. I would like to see them kind of run that back, to the point where it's kind of like she wins one, then she wins one, and then the other one gets the upper hand, and it's just all in all just this huge like brawl, kind of like the Bret Hitman Hart and Shawn Michaels kind of feud they had in WWF would be pretty badass. But I don't know. I don't think she's gonna lose the title. Usually the titles, actually, no, I take that back. AEW's, they're pretty good in terms of randomly, shifting the title over on shows that like on Rampage, like on Collision, like on, live events and stuff like that. And, I just think it's going to be great. It's going to be great tonight. Next, we have an AEW Continental Championship match between Kazuchika Okada taking on Kyle Fletcher, the Don Callis family. Kyle Fletcher needs to bounce back. He needs a huge bounce back match. He got basically demoralized by MJF. He lost to Ricochet in his in his debut, and I don't know. He just doesn't seem like he's the Kyle Fletcher that I started watching. But yeah, I don't know. We should be pretty crazy. Kaz Okada has about a 168-day title reign of the AEW Continental Championship, obviously defeating Eddie Kingston when he got signed to AEW. Kyle Fletcher was the Ring of Honor television champion for about 196 days. Also his his 4-time tag team title reign, with Mark Davis between Ring of Honor, New Japan Professional Wrestling, and New Japan Professional Strong is something that something that you got to notice. You got to pay respect. Got to pay some respects. So it's not like Kyle Fletcher is just your average, ordinary kind of walk in the park here. I feel like he's gonna get built back up. He's gonna get built back up. When you start a feud with somebody like MJF, like when AEW creative writers gonna be like, look, we need to make this main event very, prestigious, very like in your face. And we basically need to have MJF kind of just run absolute bonkers. And that's something that did happen. Like you saw him, being victimized inside the ring. He was busted open from ear to ear. You had Will Ospreay on his side. You also had Don Callis blame Will Ospreay. And it's going to get to the point where what is Kyle Fletcher going to do? Is he going to eventually move on from Don Callis, kind of like what Will Ospreay did? Will he get bounced out by Roosh or the Beast Mortos? I feel like he can stand on his own at this point. And, you do have allies in all the right places. Your best bro is Will Ospreay. Also, you have his friend Ricochet, who recently debuted in AEW. last week on Dynamite. I feel like Kyle Fletcher, I think he needs to ditch the Don Callis family. I feel like that would be kind of perfect for him right now. Because right now, his story's not really going anywhere. Ever since he kind of lost that Ring of Honor Television Championship, he's kind of been on the skid. But he's talented. He's talented. Oh my God, he's talented. You can't help, whenever he's inside the ring, you can't help but to keep your eyes on him. Like their last week's match against Ricochet. It was a great match. Ran for about, ran more than 10 minutes. So Kyle Fletcher, I feel like has a lot, he has a lot of potential, a lot of promise moving forward. Next, we have Trios Combat. We have the AEW World Trios Champion, the Blackpool Combat Club of the Bastard Pack, teaming up with Claudio Castagnoli and Wheeler Yuta, going up against Will Ospreay and the conglomeration, the team of Kyle O'Reilly and Orange Cassidy, freshly squeezed. I feel like this match is going to be a banger. You have a lot of people in this match that could, perform at a high physical level. I love the promo that you saw and Dynamite where the Bastard Pack is the number one contender for Will Ospreay's AEW International Championship. Right now, you kind of have MJF he's busy with Daniel Garcia, so I don't think that's really going to be much of an issue. But that reverse Frankensteiner, damn, that was crazy. I was surprised Will Ospreay didn't break his neck. That was insane. But I like really Yuta. I really honestly think he's going to be great. I like the Bastard Pack. I love Claudio Castagnoli in this match tonight. But you can never count out the conglomeration. You can never, ever. Because Kyle O'Reilly, he's a switchblade. Orange Cassidy, he's, from whatever. I kind of like that. I kind of like how they do that. And Will Ospreay is just, he's the leader of the group as of right now. Will you see, Mark Briscoe cut a good promo this tonight on Dynamite? I definitely 1,010% hope so. So what's going to happen with this whole EVPs thing? Is it just going to keep hitting itself and diving inside the dirt? Right now, Matthew Nicholas Jackson, I feel like the storyline isn't really working. What's going to happen between Jack Perry, with this whole Bryan Danielson kind of ordeal? It's all going to be solved live tonight on Dynamite in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. So make sure you tune in to Dynamite. And yeah. All right, guys. So, hey, do not go anywhere. We're going to jump on into our third segment. We have WWE's negative reaction over the Swerve Strickland contract. So, hey, do not go anywhere.
Looking for your daily fix of sports talk without having to pay for it? GSMC Sports Network is available on YouTube. Just search GSMC Sports Network. Get your fix of daily sports talk shows on YouTube, absolutely free. NFL, college football, NBA, MLB, MMA, UFC, fantasy football, and so much more. GSMC Sports Network has shows running all day long, with new sports shows starting every 2 hours. Just like on your favorite cable sports channel, except GSMC Sports Network is absolutely free. Just search GSMC Sports Network on YouTube to catch one of your new favorite shows, like the GSMC College Football Podcast, Chip Shot Football Podcast, Hoops and Heels Women's Sports Podcast, GSMC Basketball Podcast, and so many more. Check it out for yourself. GSMC Sports Network, now available on YouTube absolutely free. Search GSMC Sports Network on YouTube right now.
And we are back with the GSMC Wrestling Laureate Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your host, Eric Rodriguez, here every Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Pacific Time, 11 p.m. Eastern Time. We're going to talk about everything in terms of professional wrestling, all the action inside and out. We also talk about promotions from the NWA, the GCW, Stardom, New Japan Professional Wrestling, also AEW, TNA, Ring of Honor, and of course, WWE. If it makes major news headlines in the world of professional wrestling, we talk about it here on the show. 1,010%. Don't you worry about it. Perfect show to watch if you're a seasoned veteran in terms of a wrestling fan, or if you're a wrestling fan just hungry for more content, or if you're just a new wrestling fan who stumbled upon this podcast is like, you know what, I want to get professional wrestling to try. My family, the whole world is talking about it. It's a great way to start. Great place to start for every sports fan. We also have other sports like we have basketball, we have football, we have baseball starting up again. for the GSMC Sports Network. We have a bunch of other, shows that you guys can do. Fantasy sports. Everybody loves themselves some fantasy sports around the NFL season. So why not start with the GSMC Podcast Network, GSMC Sports Network, excuse me. All right, so now we're going to talk about some good old-fashioned WWE hating on their, on Tony Khan signing Swerve Strickland, his deal. But before we get into any of that, I want to remind you guys to hit up the tips and donations link at the gsmcpodcast.net. Tell me what you like, tell me what you don't like. Also, make sure you hit up that super chat. Hit up that super chat box, guys. I definitely want to hear from each and every one of you guys. If you have a burning question or a hot take in terms of professional wrestling, here at the GSMC Sports Network, we are absolutely all ears, 1,010%. So be a part of the show. Don't be too shy. Don't be too shy now. And if you really want to make sure your comment or question gets read on air, why not use that super chat? Just hit that $sign below the chat box, and your question, comment, or concern will be featured on the show. Plus, we're able to bring you guys even more sports content. It keeps the light on in terms of just donating to the show, making sure this amazing sports network stays staying alive. We are absolutely so grateful for each and every one of you guys who joins us here daily. Your support makes all the difference. So let's keep the conversation going. Let's keep this party going. Send in those super chats, those super stickers, because you guys are super, super awesome. And together we will make sure this show is bigger, better, and stronger than ever. All right, so let's go to move on to our third segment. Da, 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 da. We have Swerve Strickland talk. Get smart when I try. Big pressure on line. Love that song. I love it. Love it. All right. So although Swerve Strickland lost his AEW World Championship to Bryan Danielson in a career versus title match, which, you can't really falter Swerve for that. There's talks about Bryan Danielson winning the championship since back in April. So it feels like it's fitting for him to defeat somebody like Swerve Strickland. Like I love to say about Swerve, once when you kind of had, Cody Rhodes leave, you had CM Punk leave, the not the collaboration, what is it? The EVPs, I think they were suspended. Hangman Adam Page was suspended. Kenny Omega dealing with injury. They needed somebody to step up. They all really, really needed somebody to step up. And Swerve Strickland took the bait, and he was able to bring the company to what it is right now. And it's very, very good for them, being only 5 years in existence. Something that I love about, definitely why Swerve Strickland has quickly become one of my favorite wrestlers in terms of professional wrestling. It's just his overall capability to just produce good matches. Like every single time he was in a match, you didn't see any interference. You didn't see any bottom of the rope crap. You didn't see the referee get knocked out, unless it was in the other dude's favor. Swerve Strickland took on everybody face to face, head on, and he was able to, to prove why he's a worthy champion. And that title run, he won it against Samoa Joe. It was just perfect. Overall, it was just amazing. It's kind of sad to kind of see it come to an end. I thought overall, I feel like Bryan Danielson still would have, even if he lost, he still would have won. He's not going to be a full-timer anymore. Even with this title, I don't think he's going to, well, no, I don't want to say that. In his future, I don't think he's going anywhere, guys. Tony Khan is so supportive of his superstars. If Bryan Danielson needs to work part-time, Tony Khan's going to let it happen. He's going to let it happen. And you have Bryan Danielson at the end of the year getting neck surgery. So that's also lingering around. So who's going to be the next one to dethrone him? I do not know. But overall, I'm just, I'm happy Swerve Strickland signed that contract on the 0 Hour pre-show at AEW All In. In the Wrestling Observer newsletter, Dave Meltzer revealed Swerve Strickland signed a 5-year deal through September of 2029. Apparently already agreed that it was going to happen many weeks before All In. Strickland is a very rich man because of the new deal, amongst the biggest deals in professional wrestling, such as Roman Reigns, Randy Orton, and Cody Rhodes in the WWE side, and Kazuchika Okada, Will Ospreay, and also Mercedes Moné in AEW. And he deserves that. He deserves to kind of be in that same level of these superstars. Right now you kind of have WWE lacking stars. And if Swerve Strickland would have signed with WWE, that, oh my God, I feel like it would have been great, but I don't overall feel like that they would have really gave him all his worth. He probably would have just sunk down to be like a mid-carder again. But in AEW, I feel like they're doing great with him. I feel like, they're taking care of it. I see him as a main event star. I don't want to see him go down to the AEW Continental Championship. I don't want to see that. I don't want to see him go down to, it's not even go down to, or, I'm not trying to diminish the prestigious values of these titles, but he's an AEW World Heavyweight Champion. I don't see him as anything other than that. And that's the persona he needs to keep. I don't want this little title hiatus because, you give it to Bryan Danielson because he's, throughout his whole AEW tenure, he didn't want to hold the championship. He said over and over again, he's like, I don't want to be champion. I don't want to be champion. And Tony Khan eventually was like, you know what? You're going to be champion whether you like it or not. So now you kind of have Swerve kind of mixing up in a little bit. I loved that they started off this feud with Hangman Adam Page. I thought overall was the right decision. Kind of happened at a perfect time. It was perfect. That's all I can really say about it. It was absolutely perfect. Because right now and I kind of talked about this on other podcasts before. You want to see Hangman Adam Page and Swerve Strickland just go at each other without a lingering title obligation. Because imagine if Swerve Strickland was still the AEW World Championship. AEW creative would be thinking, be like, dude, I want to see these guys beat the hell out of each other, be good for the fans. But are we really going to have 3 or 4 title matches with these guys back to back to back to back? See, it's not pragmatic. It's not practical. So overall, I can understand why Tony Khan signed, a Swerve Strickland, but I don't know, just he deserved it. Overall, I feel like he deserved it. All right, so next you're going to Rich Man amongst the men. WWE reportedly tried to sign Swerve Strickland. Not really much of a shock there, like I said, what they would have done with Swerve Strickland, I'm not too sure. I don't think it would have been, that high end. I don't think it would have been that great. But Swerve Strickland is a very, very prominent character in AEW. WWE was trying to get Swerve and Prince Nana as a package deal, but it was quickly shut down, which was perfect, which was great. Also, they made a play at Swerve in 2022 when he originally signed with AEW. That's that's pretty interesting. I feel like they saw the potential. WWE saw the potential. They're like, but are we willing to stick our neck out for a superstar that we were not too sure back in 2022? Vince McMahon was there. We're like, we're not too sure if this guy's going to be larger than life. And is Vince gonna like him? And kind of like what you've seen with now I'm not trying to make it into that, but like usually when you see African American wrestlers in WWE, usually they're not really huge championship kind of goers. Like I feel like they dropped the ball with Bobby Lashley. Booker T had to work his arse off to be that person, but it just took that damn long. But after that, you haven't really seen anybody else. There was, of course, Kofi Mania and Big E, but I don't know. You just didn't, you don't really see like that. That stronghold holding the title. Bobby Lashley, if he resigns with WWE, he is 1,010% viewed as a main event card. He is main event guy. He's in the, he's like Bobby Lashley. He's like Brock Lesnar. He's like Roman Reigns. He's like Randy Orton. He's like Triple H. But WWE, they let him walk. They kind of did him dirty in his contract, his creative booking and stuff like that, which is a damn shame. But hopefully WWE weren't hurt too bad because of that. But I don't know. It should be pretty interesting what to move on from forward from here. But overall, WWE's reaction said reports that Swerve's new contract is overall bad for professional wrestling. WWE believes that Tony Khan is overspending for his superstars, and that just makes you think. Has WWE been lowballing their superstars? Like I said before, AEW is only 5 years old. WWE still feels like they can hit PLEs, showing only 5 matches, sometimes 4, and it's awful. It's it's a kind of a crap sandwich to swallow. But WWE got used to being this only wrestling promotion. So then they kind of had their, kind of had their heads up their butts a little bit, being like, well, where else are they going to go? Yeah, we can offer you this contract, but also you're going to be featured live on WWE screens on our Twitter, TikTok, Instagram. You're paying for exposure too, or you're getting exposure too. So let me go ahead and lowball your contracts. Is this how they're treating this contract negotiations approach in terms of Kevin Owens? That's why they haven't came to a deal. Are they kind of approaching this with this whole Becky Lynch thing? That's the reason why she was like, you know what? I'm gone. I'm gonna weigh my options here. I'm not gonna, linger on WWE because you guys quote unquote said, this is this is the biggest offer you're gonna get. You pay for overall exposure, which is, it's kind of right. It's semi right, but you got to take care of the superstars. You got to take care of your superstars. All right, guys. So our next segment, we're going to talk about Hulk Hogan is coming back to the WWE. Recently signed a 5-year contract. Good or bad? Do you love it? Do you hate it? Make sure you send me a chat of how you feel, how Hulk Hogan's going to, affect WWE. So, yeah, we're going to jump on into that as soon as we get done with this commercial break. So, hey, do not go anywhere.
For the best and latest podcasts available anywhere, go to the podcast app on your cell phone and type in GSMC to access free content-rich podcasts on health and wellness, book reviews, sports, entertainment, relationships, social media, movies, technology, finance, and even weird news. Subscribe and download the GSMC Podcast Network's family of shows, available everywhere podcasts are found.
All right. We are back with the GSMC Wrestling Laureate Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your host, Eric Rodriguez, here every Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Pacific Time, 11 p.m. Eastern Time. We're here to talk about everything in terms of professional wrestling, all the action inside and outside the ring. Backstage news, and drama behind the curtain. Also, we talk about, contract talks. We also talk about contract negotiations, injury statuses and active updates. In terms of, wrestling superstars, we, touch on promotions from WWE to the NWA, the GCW, Stardom, New Japan Professional Wrestling, AEW, Ring of Honor, TNA, WWE, you name it. If it makes major news wrestling, professional wrestling headlines, we talk about it here on the GSMC Wrestling Laureate Podcast. All right, so let's go. Sorry, it's always happened. I get off at like 7. And then the podcast starts at 8, and I get home and I just start I just shove my face full of food. It's like, shut up, Eric. You got a job to do. But then this is what happens. All right, so we're going to talk about I am a real American, fight for the rights of every man. I am a real Hulk Hogan signs with WWE, and I hate it. I gotta be honest. I don't think it's good. I don't think, what's up with this nostalgic feeling? Sometimes in wrestling it works. Yeah, it works. But Hulk Hogan coming to WWE again. God, Hulksters, no more Hulkamaniacs. No more Hulkamaniacs, please save me. So Hulk Hogan appeared on the Impulsive podcast hosted by Logan Paul, and he told Logan that he agreed to a new contract with WWE. He said, and I quote, "I signed a 5-year deal, brother. Hulkamania is going to run wild again, all over your face. I'm just kidding. No. 71 years old. The man is 71 years old, and it's crazy. It's, obviously, because you could probably think that guy on your right there, over Dana White, both of them were at and we're not a political podcast, but they were at the Trump Republican convention. You gotta believe that there was probably a little, hey, man, I was a huge fan of you growing up. Man, I loved the UFC. And, it's just, that's how he probably got his foot. He kind of weaseled his way back into WWE because, oh God, Hulk Hogan right now? Oh my God. So he said he was brought back into WWE for licensing and merchandising. Kind of, he's like, he's going to be an ambassador. Great. I mean, Hulk Hogan has been far away from WWE since 2015. Um, but that doesn't necessarily mean that he's been, recently or historically kind of in the public eye and on the positive note, or the, mostly, honestly, mostly all negative. Like, it's crazy. And like, I'm not like, we respect Hulk Hogan. He was part of the wrestling. He was huge in the 80s. When he moved to WCW, he gave WCW a lot of hope. Went back to WWE, then with the TNA, gave TNA all this hope. But of course, him and his, his best friend Eric Bischoff came together and once again ruined another wrestling promotion. But I'm just kidding. No, not shot fired. Not shots fired, guys. I'm sorry. Uh, but I don't know. He's just been. I don't think it's right. I don't think this is good for WWE. He's made. In the past, these are. They're all scandals and stuff like that. He made a video with racist remarks that eventually led to WWE kind of lifting his name from the Hall of Fame. But eventually he was, reinstated. Was controversial, 1,010%. Hulk Hogan, I don't know. He's always been recently and historically kind of been in the public eye, mostly negative. Negativity killed the cat. Negativity will kill Hulk Hogan. He made an appearance at the Republican National Convention in July to endorse Donald Trump, and that's not the bad part. I don't want Republicans watching this podcast. And like I said, this is not political. I swear to God, this is just kind of crazy. I don't want people, oh, what's so wrong that he joined the Republican convention? That's not wrong. It was the disrespect that he showed, the Democratic nominee, Kamala Harris, basically, mocking her for her heritage, also her fashion, and said that he would body slam her. Like, dude, like, it's cool, man. Everybody has their opinions about, the things we don't talk about at the dinner table on Thanksgiving. Politics, religion, some kind of, views in terms of like the LGBTQ community and stuff like that. Sometimes you avoid talking about those kind of aspects because very touching, very touching. By all means, everybody has every right to believe in what they want to believe in. They have every right to be happy. Go ahead and pursue whatever you want to pursue. You only have one life. You kind of come on here on this earth and, just gotta be happy, love your loved ones. But, why did you have to why did you have to comment on the heritage? Like, why, Hulk? Why? Why? I know you're a real American, man. But I don't know. I just, like, why? Why did you have to do that, dude? Why? And like this move to me, Hulk Hogan being signed to WWE, I only have one word for it. It's ridiculous. It's 1,010% ridiculous. Why does WWE need Hulk Hogan? I respect Hulk Hogan. Like, I get it. I get it, dude. He was essentially the death of WCW. He did not want to take bumps whenever, creative people came up to him and be like, look, Hulk, he had a creative clause control. You know what that means? He gets to say, he gets to pick who he loses to, what promo that he gets to lose to, whatever. He basically got a blank check. They're like, look, Hulk, you can do whatever the hell you want, man. Do whatever you want. Whatever you want. If you want to rip off 1,010%, 1,010 shirts on Monday Night Nitro, do it, man. Just freaking do it. It just, arguably, the reason what caused the death of WCW and TNA. Also, he's, I get it. Like I said, he's a household name, yes. His career spanned for over 4 decades of professional wrestling. Who doesn't know who Hulk Hogan is? Nobody. Everybody knows who this guy is, so I get it. Also, he's on the Mount Rushmore of basically every wrestling fan. I don't, like I said, not political podcast, focusing on Hulk Hogan as the wrestler. Even inside when he was wrestling, I feel like he lost it. And if he was really, behind the scenes in terms of what Vince Russo was doing, Eric Bischoff, maybe he left them with no choice based on his decisions and his clause in his contract. And it was bad. And then going to TNA, Dixie Carter was like, no, I'm gone. bam, Panda Energy, the main sponsor of TNA, popped out. They're like, nah, dude, I'm good. I'm good. I don't think. And then TNA went down. It's currently, it's building itself back up. The collaboration with WWE NXT is great. But there's just so much baggage. There's just so much baggage besides wrestling that, it just tarnishes tarnishes the reputation of somebody that is honored, loved inside of professional wrestling. And it's a damn shame. You had the sex tapes, you had the racist rants, homophobic slurs. He pushed the COVID-19 conspiracy theories. He admitted that he was holding down wrestling talent once when he was in WCW and WWF/WWE. What? You know what? It's a business. It is a wrestling business. Why WWE would even decide of, bringing this guy back? I get it. I get it. You also, like I said, not a political podcast, but you can't be dumb. You have the election in 2024 November, and I could see maybe him going a little crazy in terms of the Donald Trump kind of side, the envisionment of him being president once again. And, maybe finding himself in trouble in terms of the public eye once again for WWE to be like, you know what? Yeah, dude, we made a huge mistake. Hulk Hogan, he's apologized. Yeah. But, even I think there was oh my God, no, there was an apology that he made about the racist remarks and, New Day's, Xavier Woods, and I believe Big E kind of saw and was like, dude, I kind of see through this BS. You know what I mean? Like, I think I see through the bull spit. This guy, like, he feels like he's like he's like the everything. He's the crap. He's the, the cream of the crop. And he can say whatever the hell he wants because you're using me for, like you said, merchandising. Using it to be an ambassador. And he said it himself on the Impulsive podcast with Logan Paul, who actually is kind of in trouble as well, Logan Paul. He's not shy away from controversy as well. Like he said, if WWE needs me to do a WrestleMania, brother, I'm going to do it. And we're be like, all right, cool. We get to, we get more Hulk Hogan. That's awesome. Cool. Like, I'm so excited to see this guy that found a way to take one of the most prestigious wrestling career, F it up, and now kind of live in the limelight where you have, critics like me who are kind of like, I don't think this is such a good idea, dude. I don't think it is. But, I am who I am. I've only been a wrestling fan my whole entire life. Maybe he will be good for WWE. I'm not too sure. Maybe they can start selling the Hulkamania t-shirts on the, on the boardwalk again. Maybe they could maybe they can develop a new NWO because how, Hulk Hogan loves to revamp that NWO aspect. He tried to do it in the TNA, did it in, the original in WCW, tried to do it in WWF/WWE, wasn't good. But I don't know. I questioned the decision by WWE by doing this. But I don't know. Let me know what you guys think inside the chat. Obviously, give me a little help here. Tell me, maybe I'm just being highly super critical. Maybe be like, people do deserve a second chance. Maybe I'm being a little too hard on the Hulkster. Hulkamaniac running wild. I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding. No. What if I just did that? It'd be kind of cool. I'm just kidding. All right. So that was my Hulkamania rant. Like we do every Wednesday, we talk about our Wednesday's weekly wrestling news. So grab your favorite snack, grab your favorite ice cold beverage, and join me here in about 25 seconds. All right. We're back with the GSMC Wrestling Laureate Podcast brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. I'm your host, Eric Rodriguez, here every Monday through Friday to talk about professional wrestling on the GSMC Sports Network. So yeah, let's get a move on. Just gonna reflect on what we talked about real quick. We had our WWE NXT review, our AEW Dynamite preview. We talked about it wasn't NXT. We talked about, Hulkamania. We talked about him earlier on. Um, we also talked about how Swerve Strickland's contract was hated by WWE, saying that Tony Khan, you overpay for your guys, bro. Now we have to live up to that standard. Why do you have to do that, Tony? Why do you got to be so rude, man? Why do you have to do that? So we talked about that in our third segment, and now we're going to talk about our Wednesday's weekly wrestling news. So yeah, let's talk about some of the major headlines in terms of professional wrestling. And yeah, it's going to be great. All right, first and foremost, we're going to talk about the big, bad Bronson Reed. Oh my God, this guy, jumped from a giant wall. Nobody could stop this guy. Nobody. He slammed Braun Strowman. The windows blew out inside that luxury. Was it convertible? No, it wasn't convertible. It was a sedan. I think it was a sedan. Sedan. Damn, what's wrong with me? Someone who can stop. Something that could stop Bronson Reed and his rage. It's COVID-19. And I'm not trying to make a joke. Obviously, hope the best for his his health endeavors. Hope he makes, he's gonna come back to WWE. Like, you know what I mean? Everything's gonna be all good. But when I didn't see him, I thought he got hurt because of the stunt. I thought that's exactly why we didn't see Bronson Reed. You saw Braun Strowman kind of come back with taped up ribs that took his spot for the Triple Threat Intercontinental Championship #1 contender match, which he wanted bad. He wanted so damn bad. And I don't even know the protocols for COVID-19 anymore. Maybe somebody can help me in the chat. If you get COVID-19, although you are vaccinated, do you still have to spend 2 weeks away? Are we going to see Bronson Reed take 2 weeks off? I'm not too sure. Could possibly happen. He's kind of stuck in that storyline where he's gone for 2 weeks. I feel like he's been building up all this momentum to kind of, have it being killed right now, but, you did have that stunt with Braun Strowman, so that's going to buy them a little time. So, overall, definitely praying for Bronson Reed's health right now. And, hope he, makes it, he's going to make it through. He's going to make it through. Like, it's so crazy how COVID is still upon us, guys. It started creating, oh my God, back in 2020. Oh my God, that was insane. Honestly, and I'm going to take I'm going to be, brief with this story here. But for me, COVID-19, the whole pandemic didn't really surface into my mind until I turned on WWE SmackDown and I saw Triple H come out in a stadium with no people in it. And that's when I was like, dude, what the hell's going on? Usually when something happens like that, somebody dies. And that's when I felt that feeling in my stomach. Because I heard everything. Obviously, I live in Southern California. There was the guy that was being held inside like an airport, a hospital, because they weren't too sure what he had, and he kept testing positive for this influenza. And it's so kind of crazy. It's kind of sad. Like, what does that say about me? You know what I mean? Like, I didn't take COVID-19 seriously until I saw Triple H come out and be like, look, this is a global pandemic. And I was like, yes, Triple H. I've seen on CNN, I've seen on Fox 11 News, I've seen people talking like health officials saying that this is a deadly virus. And I'm just there. I'm like, yes, Triple H. I'm just kidding. No, I don't know. Like, this is kind of crazy, but like, I had that feeling in my stomach, that sinking feeling that I was like, oh, like, this is crazy. This is indeed crazy. Kind of a little fun fact about me. I'm not ignorant. I swear to God. I'm just obsessed with wrestling. All right. Next, we have JoJo Offerman, the fiance of Bray Wyatt, shares her thoughts and feelings about the Wyatt Six. And she says it's a little bittersweet. And you can't really blame her. You're kind of seeing what Bray envisioned on TV. You see his brother. You're basically watching Bray every single Monday night. And, and she said she loves it. She loved that. She loves that Wyndham Rotunda's legacy is still living through WWE. And that's why I feel I want WWE to do this right. So far, I feel like I'm still 50-50 with this whole Wyatt Six thing. Starting off attacking Chad Gable and his new mates. I mean, I guess to kind of get them started. Obviously, you haven't had Bo Dallas within a wrestling ring for a long time, so maybe it's nice. It's a nice little warm up. You know what I mean? It's a nice little tag back. But overall, when you had the Wyatt family with Eric Rowan, Luke Harper, Bray Wyatt, and damn it, who is that other guy that I'm missing? Oh, I'm the worst wrestling fan in the world. But then we saw these guys come out. They targeted John Cena immediately. Like immediately. It was crazy. Overall, it was crazy as hell. Braun Strowman. Damn it, I knew it. I was like, who's the other guy? Braun Strowman. I knew it. But Jojo Offerman, thoughts and prayers are with, you and your kids. Obviously, Bray Wyatt's looking down on us. I feel like he's happy with what Bo Dallas is doing right now. Kind of creating this eerie feeling on Monday Night Raw. And I do believe this is going to take a lot of patience. And I do believe when they make it to Netflix, it's going to get crazier. And right around the corner, you do have Halloween. You have Halloween. WWE loves to pander to, what is trending right now. A good example is, having the Unholy Union win at Clash at the Castle, having Mansoor win the Greatest Royal Rumble in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. Also, in Canada, where you have, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn win matches. Not because of, I'm not trying to diminish their value because, they only do that, But that's just how WWE is. You know what I mean? If you don't pick that up by now, you're not much of a wrestling fan. And with Halloween right around the corner in October happening, you're going to see some pretty scary stuff. I feel like it's only going to get better. After this Chad Gable feud, me personally, I wanted to see, and I know that this would never, ever, ever, ever happen because they're too fixated on this Civil War thing, which is cool as well. But imagine like Solo Sikoa, Jacob Fatu, Tungaloa, and Tonga inside the ring. They're talking, all of a sudden you see the and the lights turn out, and then you see Uncle Howdy come out and talk to Solo Sikoa, be like, Solo, you have been this false prophet. Like, and it just gets so crazy, it gets so eerie. I feel like that'd be pretty badass. That's what I would love to see, but I don't know. I feel like that. I don't know. In my dreams, I guess, right? In my dreams. Next, we have Matt Cardona of course, the independent wrestling scene is willing to come back to WWE if and only if he can bring his own name. So we are no more focusing on the Zack Ryder, the woo woo woo. That's not him anymore. He's gonna come back as Matt Cardona. His smoking hot wife Chelsea Green is on WWE SmackDown. So I feel like it's right for him to come back to WWE at this moment. Right now on SmackDown, main event stars. Who do you have? Who do you have? Roman Reigns. I don't believe in Solo Sikoa. I'm sorry. Cody Rhodes. Kevin Owens. He's on the outside looking in. Two superstars that are looked at to be able to hold the WWE Undisputed Championship. I feel like if Matt Cardona comes back, he comes back from being absolutely on fire from the independent scene, like what you've seen with Cody Rhodes. He comes back and he starts handing belts to arses. That'd be so cool. I feel like it'd be great, be a nice poetic justice for him to come back and just start kicking ass. But will WWE do it? I know right now he's on TNA. He's on this smidge with PCO and Stephanie Lander. I feel like they're going to figure that out overall before, something happens. But I don't know. It's just kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy. But no, I'm wrong. Also, Randy Orton's coming back because he didn't win against Gunther on Raw. Who on Raw is a main event kind of guy? Like, Gunther just got there. And I feel like he's still, on the cusp of being a main event. Damian Priest, I feel like he's always been that guy kind of on the outside looking in. CM Punk as well. I feel like CM Punk could be a main event kind of guy. I feel like WWE kind of does need a little revamp here. Like, you know what I mean? And imagine if they did sign Swerve Strickland. You know what I mean? Like, if they did, that would have been great. I feel like he would have been great in WWE. But, no, I don't know. He fits so well in AEW. He is AEW. When I think of AEW, I don't think of Bryan Danielson. I don't give a crap about the EVPs, the Young Bucks. Kind of suck now that they did this whole stupid thing with, with Kazuchika Okada, and it's just Jack Perry. And it's not an indictment on their skills, but I just thought it was bad booking. That was terrible, terrible idea. He's the face of AEW. But Matt Cardona will come back to WWE if he gets to keep his name. All right, Odyssey Jones. Have you noticed that you didn't see Odyssey Jones on Monday Night Raw? You didn't see anything from the Final Testament, who was dying. Found this, little storyline between them and the New Day, and then it got cut short. And then they were building it back up, and then something bad happens, and they weren't even mentioned once on Monday Night Raw. This whole New Day splitting up thing, they're like, oh, shoot, let's scratch that. That's not going to happen anymore. Odyssey Jones has been removed from WWE TV due to a domestic violence allegations. Still allegations, not too sure, but still, WWE doesn't really like to, kind of get included with negative publicity. Like you saw when they released Rich Swann of WWE 205 Live when he was, I think it was the champion. No, he wasn't. No, maybe he was. But he was hot. He was absolutely on fire. And all of a sudden, they erased him. They erased him off of WWE TV. And you're like, dude, what happened to Rich Swann? Although he was acquitted of his charges, and they were, just allegations. Overall, anything negative, you're gonna get canned. Right? And it's kind of crazy. I feel kind of bad for Odyssey Jones, but it is what it is. Next, Adam Copeland of AEW. Obviously, that's Edge from WWE. Used to team up with Christian. Also, he used to be the leader of the Judgment Day, but was bounced out. He basically says that his leg is screwed. He's not too sure, when he will be back from leg injury. And if you did watch that match at Double or Nothing, that steel cage match between him and Aleister Black, and it looked ugly. It looked terrible. The landing was awful. You can't take those jumps when you're that old. I'm sorry. Like, I know you go to AEW to kind of explore this rebellious. I want a different perspective in terms of my career. I don't want to be remembered for my last stint with WWE. Teaming up with your fiance to take on, who did they take on? The Miz and Maurice? Did they take on Miz? No, I think no. But I don't know. It was just a pain in the ass. It was just a pain in the ass. I think it was Rhea Ripley and not Dominic Mysterio. They weren't flirting at the moment. I think it was Finn Balor. I think he feuded with Finn Balor mostly. But I don't know. Ed should have been more careful. You're late in your career, man. You're not Superman anymore. Sometimes you got to look in the mirror, talk to yourself, and be like, look, I can't do this anymore, man. I can't do this. I wake up with back pain after I sneeze. Just kidding. No, I trip over a crack in the sidewalk and I stub my toe for like 5 days. And it hurts. It's excruciating pain. I'm just kidding. No, but no, actually I'm not. As you get older, it's not that fun anymore. You know what I mean? But you still gotta love life. Still gotta love life. All right. So Swerve Strickland, after he signed his awesome contract, he bought his childhood dream. He bought his childhood house. When he was with his family, they foreclosed on it. They were forced to move out. His mother was absolutely devastated. Him as a young child, as a young man, couldn't really do much about it. And obviously, you kind of hold that baggage on the back. This whole promo that they posted on Twitter/X was, it was heartwarming. It was definitely heartwarming. Definitely think this is going to be like a promo. I read it in, I think it was Wrestling.Inc. That it would have been funny, not funny, but it would have been crazy if Hangman Adam Page came out of nowhere and bulldozed it down, But I don't know. This could be because the last time they were feuding, him and Hangman Adam Page, it was the other way around where you saw him invade Hangman Adam Page's home. Maybe you have Swerve Strickland having dinner with his family, or with his grandfather and grandmother. Then you have Hangman Adam Page beat the hell out of him. That could happen too. But, overall, I'm just happy where Swerve is right now. I feel like he took a huge step up, took a lot of responsibility from AEW, from what Tony Khan overall kind of had on his plate. And I feel like he's done nothing but being successful. So 1,010%, I love that for Swerve Strickland. All right. So also we have TMZ notes that Nikki Bella, will now be back on the singles market. She is contacting lawyers for her divorce after this, domestic violence, allegations between her man, Artem, Chig, Figgitston. I can't even pronounce his name right. But you should bring back John Cena, dude. John Cena comes back and steals, Nikki Bella's heart. I'm just kidding. No, that's overall, like I said, it's this is a wrestling podcast, not too much of the trying to focus on more of the positive kind of aspect of it. But overall, it's hard. It's kind of hard to speak about this. So let's go ahead and move on. All right, our last story that you saw Monday Night Raw, much like I did. I was like, who is this guy? What is going on right now? No Corey Graves, no Michael Cole. You see this man right here, Joe Tessitore's debut on Monday Night Raw. According to WWE, it was really rocky, but it's a positive step in the right direction. He even told Jackie Redmond, I think it was, that he didn't think he did well. I thought he did great. I got to be honest. I loved it. Kind of reminded me of you usually, I love Michael Cole. I love Michael Cole 1,010%. He gets really into the matchups, and I love it. But sometimes he kind of has that bias, although he does side with the baby faces. And now you're going to see Wade Barrett kind of be his partner heading into WWE Monday Night Raw going to Netflix. I kind of saw him, I got a little bit of a nostalgic feeling. And, I don't know if I'm too high on this guy. I don't know if I am. But it kind of reminded me of once when you saw, somebody like Michael Hayes standing behind there. Like, you know what I mean? Like maybe like, in the early 90s, Bobby the Brain Heenan or, Vince McMahon even once when he was actually cool. Now he's not, we don't mention him on this podcast anymore. You don't mention him. We don't talk. I'm just kidding. But I thought he did great. I love that direction that they're kind of heading into with him teaming up with Wade Barrett. It just kind of shocks me that you want to see Michael Cole kind of take over the reins of Monday Night Raw. I'm so shocked for that. That kind of makes me think that maybe you're going to see a lot of the talent move from SmackDown to Raw. And then, obviously with Michael Cole's voice, you can make any superstar like the biggest, grandest stage of them all. So I definitely think Monday Night Raw is going toward, kind of like, it's kind of crazy because I feel like I'm talking like an NFL team, kind of going toward like a rebuild, because right now it needs a lot of work, especially in the women's division. Within the women's division, it needs a lot of work. Monday Night, what do you have? Just Drew McIntyre cutting a promo, CM Punk attacks him, CM Punk cutting a promo. Guess what? Drew McIntyre attacks him and wash, rinse, and repeat over and over and over and over again. And it's just, Gunther's the champion. I like it. I respect Gunther as a WWE superstar, but overall, there's not really that big superstar that like that whoa and that wow superstar. Whenever he walks through that curtain, you're like, damn. Like there's no Roman Reigns. There's no Roman Reigns. There's no, that back in the day feeling with whenever you saw The Undertaker come through the curtain or Triple H, Shawn Michaels, Batista. It's not the same anymore. It's it's kind of crazy. But overall, I loved Joe Tessitore's debut on Monday Night Raw. I definitely agree with WWE thinking it is the right step and a positive step in the right direction. All right, guys. So hey, that was it. That's it for me today, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. Thank you so much for tuning in to the GSMC Wrestling Laureate Podcast brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. Remember to Superman Punch that like and subscribe button to the show. Follow the network here in the GSMC Sports Network. We do love a lot of peace, love, and positivity 1,010% of the time. Although we do love feedback. Feedback is a gift. Follow us on Twitter /X, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook for more content and updates. And like I always say, if I haven't made you a wrestling fan by now, we got my boy Emran's GSMC Soccer Podcast starting in about 14 minutes. We also got Tommy with college football. We also have, Nelson with the GSMC Basketball Podcast. We got Fantasy Sports with my boy Chris Shepard. Find out your stardoms, your draftums, your sit-ums, who you should bet on the NFL. Tune into his show, and I guarantee you, he will help you be successful and, win a lot of money. You know what I mean? Like, but then I don't overall want you guys to hold him accountable. Be like, hey, like, the guy from the wrestling podcast said, you can win us some money, that bastard. I'm just kidding. No, but overall, it's a great podcast. It's an amazing podcast. It's really fun. I listened to it a couple of times, and you get a lot of comments, and it's just fun. People just have a lot of fun talking about fantasy. When football, the NFL starts on Thursday. Tomorrow, we got the Baltimore Ravens taking on the Kansas City Chiefs on NBC, Peacock, and Patrick Mahomes is going to be live. Make sure you find out all the news about your football teams on the GSMC Football Podcast with my boy Kenneth, or the Chip Shot Football Podcast with my boy Manny. We also have Sports by GSMC with Jeremy. We got the GSMC Sports Podcast with TJ. And we just got a bunch of sports, a lot of people that are passionate about professional sports. I love these guys, 1,010%. I'll watch, learn from them, become a better podcaster. It's always good to kind of take an outside looking in perspective. You know what I mean? Sometimes it gets a little troublesome watching Stephen A. Smith, watching, Skip Bayless and Colin Cowherd and Jason McIntyre. But although I do love those guys. But, well, guys, that's it for me. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday. Stay beautiful, but most importantly, love you.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day. Yeah, I'm tired of shit, and the coffee ain't hit yet, damn, ain't that great. I don't wanna go to